Well, hello and welcome to the Off Point podcast with Les and Marlon. My name's Les Steed,
I'm Marlon White.
and today's topic we are talking about popping the question. Obviously, I'm a little way off because I can barely hold down a relationship for longer than a year. Marlon, on the other hand, has managed to be with his now wife for.
This
Be careful how you answer this one, 'cause she's
this
gonna
November will be probably about 6 years. Not November, August will be 6 years. I proposed after the third year.
after the third year. Yeah, so I was thinking about that. So it's yeah, we want to do another. We'll do another piece on getting married itself because apparently it's an absolute shit show.
Yeah, it is.
But like, okay, so what point did you decide it was a good idea to pop the question, and also why did you go from I really like this girl to I'm going to marry her?
It's weird because I never really thought about marriage. I think we got to about probably a year and a half, and then we were just hanging out one day, and then her friend calls up, and they were talking. She was talking to her friend on the phone, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm with Marlon," and then she's like, "Oh, hi, Marlon." Then she's just having we're just having a casual chat, and then she's just like, "So Marlon, when you gonna propose to Anne Marie?"
Oof.
I was just like, "What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I hate when people do that. Why on earth? It's like yeah. When are you going to spend $5,000 on a ring?
Yeah.
When I get $5,000,
And,
you know.
and at this point, I didn't even think of marriage, so I was just like, "What the fuck?"
How old were you at that point?
So I was about probably 27, 28.
Jesus.
So I was just like, "What the fuck?" And then as she was asking me that, and I'm all flustered, so my phone rang because we're waiting for Domino's to arrive, pizza.
Right.
So I'm like, "Oh, so I have to go. The pizza's just arrived," and I just kind of rushed
Bye.
downstairs.
Bye.
Yeah. And that was like the first time, and then
5 minutes downstairs going.
yeah. That's the first time I ever thought. Because obviously you go from being a very young age where you're too young to get married,
Yeah.
and nobody expects you to get married really. So you go from that young age, and
Do you
then
find the same thing with babies, by the way? Because I mean, like, I'm still at that stage where in my head, if someone goes, "I'm pregnant," I'm like, I don't know whether to say congratulations or are you going to abort it? Because you're too young to be having babies, but we're like 30s now and everyone's doing.
I remember the first time somebody asked me to go off point quickly. The first time somebody asked me, "Do I have any kids?" I was about 23, and I was just like, "No, what are you talking about?"
That's weird.
Yeah. I'm surprised that you even asked me that question. Look how young I am. Why would you ask me that? But yeah, to go back on point with that story. So that was the first time. So the idea of marriage even crossed my mind. I was like, I never even thought, because like I said, you go from being very young and no expected to be married, then suddenly it's been brought up, and then I think the second time I went round, I met her parents. That was cool, but then I met her aunts, and then they started bringing it up, and I'm just like, whoa, what is going on here?
How much older than you? How old was she at this point?
Who my missus?
Yeah.
So she was in probably early 30s.
Early to mid 30s. Yeah. Do you find it's a lot of external pressure that it kind of you kind of capitulated to it just to shut other people up, or was it because you actually were like you and her were like actually this is something we both need?
Well, I found that actually that part of it very annoying, because people tend to just sort of stick themselves into your relationship, and I find that because I'm a very private person, and I found that element
very on his podcast.
Yeah. Talking about my relationship on my podcast. Yep. Yeah. I find that element very annoying. I don't recommend people do this in people's relationship, because you never know where somebody is in their relationship, and it takes like. There's not like you can't really judge it. You can't compare relationships. I always say that you can't go, "Oh, you got married after a year, so I need to get married after a year." That doesn't really work.
It's about like loads of
It's about growth,
like finance,
it's about
as well as anything, like and romance, and then also like your love style.
Exactly,
things like that.
And it's about growth. So like it might take you one person 10 years to get there, and it might take one person 1 year to get there. You never know. It's all about growth. And I feel that and I never particularly like people doing that to me, just saying, "Oh, when you get married, or when is this gonna happen?" I'm like, why? What's it to do with you? And also another factor in that is that, how do you know I'm not planning on proposing next week, and now you've sort of ruined the surprise?
Yeah, and then it's gonna be like they're gonna like have their aura and be like, "Oh my god, I suggested it," and then like he did it like the next day because he was like, yeah, and it's just
I found that element very annoying. But
it's when someone makes your story their story.
But then like I guess it sort of worked on their part, because then you start thinking about it a bit more. Maybe you're like, "Oh, maybe I should do," and then you start thinking about your relationship, and you're like, you know what, everything's going really smoothly, and I can't really. Nothing's gone wrong. Everything's
What's
gone.
that like? Because I honestly,
it's like
it never goes smoothly for me. It lasts about 2 weeks, and I'm like, all right, here's why my personality
the
sucks.
little bit of dating I did before my wife, it was just like you just having little stupid arguments over over just like unnecessary stress, and you've only been going out for like a month or so.
Yeah, I'm getting to that stage at the moment where it's like you get that. I think it's a 6-month phase where you're just like starting to test each other a little bit.
And with my wife, it was just so smooth. It was just nothing went wrong, and then I thought, you know what? If everything goes this smoothly after the 3-year mark, I will think about proposing. I will propose. So what I did after the 2nd year, once we got to the 2nd anniversary, because the way we did it, we had I think the 1st year we said I love you for the first time.
Wait, I said mine after about 3 months usually.
Yeah, we work a bit slower.
Yeah, I'm quick.
And then the 2nd year we moved into each other with each other. So I was like, okay, if we get to the 3rd year, and what to double back quickly, I was speaking to one of my housemates because my mum used to rent out some of the rooms in her flat for like extra cash. So one of the housemates was like, he's deadly against marriage because he's a divorcee.
Yeah, that was.
So he was talking to me.
Don't get married. It's a waste of money. You're on the other side of it. Do you think you probably get to know the person better after a divorce though? Because you can both love and then leave them. It's like I find that I get to know somebody better after I've split up with them, because you kind of see them as a human being as well as somebody you're in love with.
Well, no, like
or it's like a different kind of getting to know them. I don't know.
Well, the relationship I have, I've never spoken to them again once I broke up with them.
Well, actually, no, that's not true.
I don't even know if they're still. I don't even know if they're still alive, to be honest.
Really?
But
I'm friends with a couple of my exes. They're quite lovely people, actually.
Yeah, so
some of them are a bit. Yeah.
So my mum's housemate was just like, before you even think about getting married, you need to live with her first. And I wasn't even discussing marriage. He just brought this up randomly.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Though. Yeah. I mean, I found that as well.
It's like you never know until you live with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, my best mate, I lived with 2 girls recently in Wembley, and I was with them for about 9 months, and at first it was fine, but being the boy in the house, and there's all these little things that kind of made our relationship. You know, we're still my best mates. I was hanging out with them yesterday, but you know, like it just kind of puts pressure on your relationship in ways you wouldn't expect. Yeah. And then of course, you know, when I was going out with during COVID, I went out with, you know, living with a partner, and I found that living with them was great, but after a little while, it's the little things like the way that there's too much laundry, and it's just really weird what you find. Yes. And you find yourself being taken for granted for stuff like that. It's just really weird.
So, like you said, until you live with somebody and you find you experience their little habits, until you live with them, you don't know the real person, and that's like that's really true. So until you live with somebody, you don't know if you can actually we don't actually fight in front of each other. So
it's like a sort of general sort of politeness thing.
Yeah. I've let a couple slip by accident.
That's how I knew I wanted to sleep with her. Is that weird? Like when I first the girl I'm seeing at the moment, like the day, like that date where I was like, where I could actually finally let my guard down a bit more, was like because she farted accidentally and then just looked at me and went whoops, and I just completely owned it. And I looked at her, I was like, I quite like you actually as a person. Like, you know, I was like, all of a sudden I didn't have to do that whole intense datey sort of thing, and I was like, all right, well, let's be comfortable then. You know, it's really nice. So I mean, it smelled, but it was fine. You know, but like principally speaking, lovely thing.
So we lived with each other for about probably nearly a year. No, it was probably about 6-7 months. And then we went to our sister's wedding in Barbados.
Cool.
Yeah. Then my wife caught the bouquet.
Oh shit.
And then it was like, Marlon.
Oh fuck that! Run.
As I said, if we get to the 3rd year mark, I would marry her. So this was like a few months before the 3rd year mark. So when we got to the 2nd year mark, I started saving money. I opened up an ISA, you know, one of them fixed ISAs, and then I was like putting this like couple hundred every month, putting it in there.
That's good.
Yeah. And then after you can't access this money for like a year.
No.
So like after a year, they send you the money.
That's cool.
That you've been saving, whatever interest they give you. I can't remember how much it was, but yeah. So I started doing that just in case I felt like I wanted to propose. I wasn't sure I was going to propose, but I wanted to be ready if I was going to. So to go back to, we went to the wedding in Barbados, and then everybody was like, the wedding happened in like I think May, and everybody's like, oh, get married, whatever, get propose.
They'll get the bug, and then you're like, did you find that was?
So
how did that make you feel? Like everyone,
it make you feel like on the spot and everything, but I think I handled it well. But yeah, you feel like you're.
It's nice that they're kind of welcoming you into the family and want you to be a part of it, though. That's quite sweet.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So
they're not being like, it's like, no, you can do better kind of thing. Yeah.
So we came back from Barbados, and then our anniversary from when we met, it was in August. So we came back in May, end of May towards June. So I'm like, okay, am I gonna? Because the idea was like, because you know, like every year you plan something for your anniversary. So I think the first year we went to this luxury cinema where you order food and all that, and they bring it to you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, like Everyman or something.
It's in Bayswater or something.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's one of them luxury cinemas.
Oh, cool.
It was cool at the time. You just press a button and then like a waiter comes.
Cool.
Yeah. And then the second year we went to the Shards and had like a nice meal there.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, I stayed in a 5-star hotel.
So when you actually popped the question, what were you doing? What was the plan?
So hold on, let me go, I'll get to that in a sec.
Oh God. So much time on God's green earth.
Yeah.
So
it was June, 2 months before the our third anniversary. So I'm like, okay, I think we're getting to the stage. I'm getting to the stage where I'm gonna propose either this year or next year. So I'm like, should I do it this year? So I decided to go ahead and do it this year.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, all right. The original plan was to propose in the W Hotel in Piccadilly Circus. This is before we were living with each other. So I was gonna do that. But I thought, what's the point of proposing in London? Because.
So where did you end up proposing?
So yeah, so I was like, okay, I got a few months. I got literally 2 months because we just came back from Barbados. Spent a hell of a lot of money in Barbados. It's expensive. So I got 2 months to get all the cash I got together and plan a trip, plan this proposal.
Right.
So what I did is I started looking. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a surprise trip for her.
That's good.
So I was thinking, okay, first place, the obvious place was Paris.
Yeah, cliche.
So I was at Paris. I was looking into Paris. I'm like, okay, I've got because the thing you need to plan everything. So I'm like, okay, I need to find a restaurant. I need to find a
walk.
I need to find a nice hotel. It can't be like a standard hotel. It needs to be a really nice hotel.
Yeah, 4 or 5 stars.
Yeah, 5-star I went with. So that was the obvious Paris. But then I couldn't put everything I wanted together in terms of activity, hotel, location. So I don't like Paris is like London. You can end up like standing like somewhere out on outskirts of London.
London. I was there recently. It's just like all buses and stuff. Yeah.
I don't really want to do that. I wanted to be where everything's happening. So
you don't want to be in Pigalle, although you kind of do.
So that was that aspect of it. So I was like, okay, I got like literally a few weeks to put this all together. And that's what I would say. I wish I had more time to like plan this more out a bit better. But I had to sort of like I had 2 months to like put this together.
Right. Okay. So you had 2 months to put it together, and then what?
So so I started planning. So I was like, okay.
So did you go Paris or where did you go for?
So that's what I'm saying. So I was planning out Paris, and I was like, you know what? She wanted to go to Brussels. We went to Germany instead. She said she wanted to go to Brussels at one point a few years before. So I was like, okay, we haven't been Brussels before, so let me look into Brussels. Yeah. So I found like the hotel and I found the restaurant and everything that I wanted to go to in Brussels. So I ended up booking like Brussels, like Eurostar. Yeah. So, but before that, I also had Venice as well. But
that got Venice. That got quickly. Romantic time in Venice.
That got quickly ruled out just because we have to fly. Yeah. And I thought because I wanted it to be a surprise trip.
But still surprise her at the airport, surely.
Yeah. I wanted it to be a surprise trip, so I thought the whole hassle of like the liquids in your bag and all that crap.
Well, I mean, you're not the first person to put. I mean, you put it in the baggage, whole baggage.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I wanted the way I planned it. She didn't even know that we were going away. You understand? Yeah. Yeah. So I even packed clothes and everything.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So she didn't know that we were going away. So I told her we're going to like a hotel in King's Cross. So she put a few things out. I was more worried about that whole liquid stuff. I'm like, forget that. But it has to be on the Eurostar. Yeah. So what I did, I booked all of that. So what I did, I didn't want her to not have any clue what I was planning. So what I did, I came up with I had to plan a second fake trip.
You planned a fake trip?
Yeah, with the fake activities.
Clever.
Yeah. So what I did is I was like
decoy trip.
Yeah. It took ages. Like this what took so long. It took forever. So I was like, okay, go on the internet, find some fake stuff to do. That sounds
It's
really
like 20 minutes of like, you know, like a quick Google. It's like, yep, we're going to go Venice.
But also,
what would you have done though if your fake trip had been more exciting than your real trip for her? And she was like all well excited about the fake trip and then got disappointed.
No, it wasn't better.
Yeah.
So
wait, you kind of
but
came
also,
up with the most mediocre holiday. And
also,
it's like, yeah, I'm going to Tenerife, maybe the Maldives. I don't know, babe. You know, like, it's like, why is it $5 grand going out of the account?
But also, the fake trip had to also take her to where I needed her to go as well, like King's Cross, because we needed to take the Eurostar. So that's why, and also I needed to make it that if she does a quick Google, that these stuff is actually there, that actually hotel actually exists. I didn't want to make up, because I know she would check.
Well, of course, she's not stupid.
So I didn't want it to be like, I made up a hotel in King's Cross. She's like, oh man, I can't find that hotel that activity, and it doesn't exist. So I had to actually find some actual activities that actually exist. So I found a hotel.
Yeah. So you did the decoy plan, and then when you got to Brussels, what happened?
Then hold on.
Did you got when you got into the?
No. So what I did is I made up some fake confirmations as well to add to the surprise. So I went
confirmation emails.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that is detailed.
Yeah, it was detailed. I was like at work. Lucky my manager wasn't in, so I was on the computer designing all this stuff.
Right.
Fake and send it to her, like fake hotel confirmation, fake the activity was we were meant to go to the British Library in King's Cross as well, where it was like some poetry thing. I can't remember what it was. It was some boring poetry
thing.
Thing.
Shit that you wouldn't do. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I had that all, like I sent her all the confirmation, and then so I was like, oh yeah, we're spending a night in Crown Plaza in King's Cross. So pack a bag.
Mm-hmm.
So she packed her bag. So for like one day, the trip to Brussels was for 2 days. So I also packed some extra clothes in my suitcase for her.
Yeah, my dad did that once.
Yeah. So we went to King's Cross Station, and then like we went to literally it was quite perfect because like you're walking down, and then the British Library is to the left, the station for the Eurostar is to the right. So you walk in, and then she's like looking, and I think she was slightly disappointed that we were going to the library. So we got there, and she's like, oh, she could see the place that I planned. So she's looking at it, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we started walking, and then I was like, oh, actually, we're going this way.
All right.
Yeah. Then we went to the station, but because I like to get there to the thing early. Our train's not ready yet, so we have to wait a while in King's Cross Station. So I told her I actually booked a surprise trip to Bradford. That's the first thing.
Bradford.
That's the first thing.
I'm sorry. So you just said I booked a surprise trip to Bradford?
Yeah.
Fucking surprise, Bradford. I mean, Marlon, you're a romantic. Jesus Christ. I mean, Brussels, I thought was a little bit under. You know, like it was like all right, but because I got at least a few nice buildings, but like Bradford.
It was literally the first thing I could see on. When you got the time.
How did she react when you were like, yeah, we're going to Brussels?
Well, I think she was like, oh, okay, it's better than the British Library.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was okay with Brussels then.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like, all right, we're going to Brussels instead of Bradford.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, it's time for us to go. So I'm like, oh, and she's like, how? Dude, don't I need a passport?
Well,
I forgot to mention I nicked her passport as well.
I mean, like, if she'd panicked and then. Like she needed an ID or something like that, and then you'd be like, shit.
No, I did it just before we left.
Oh, good. All right,
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What happened with the ring?
Yeah, so I went to buy the ring. So I also got the money the month before from saving up, and then, as I said, what I've mentioned before, that I wish I had planned this out a bit more. So I just rocked up to the store with one of my friends, one of my girlfriends. So we rocked up to the store, and when you look online, the rings look massive.
Yeah,
but they're not massive. They're tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So I got there and I'm like, all these rings are tiny.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all of these rings are super tiny. And I'm like, okay, fuck this. I can't buy any of these.
No.
So I ended up going to another place nearby to buy the ring. And what I didn't know at the time is that you should actually literally do this, like spend like a month before choosing your ring, which I didn't know before. I just said I'll pick one.
But you have to get it sized and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean,
no, but the thing you don't know, I don't know why no man has come up with a good way of getting a woman's size. I was googling before. There's no good way of finding a size.
No, you just got to like. So also, how do you measure it? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I thought there'd be like
do you have like maybe there's like a little sort of thing that you can swish on their finger up? While they're asleep or something. But
there was one method of that. Somebody when she falls asleep, you tie a little string to her finger. But I'm like,
you got to get it off the finger.
Yeah, but she's gonna wake up when you're doing
it's
that.
like wakes up with a bit of string around her finger. You're like, go to sleep.
You have to hope that she's like a deep sleeper, or you're gonna drug her or something that she
You
doesn't
can't
wake
drug
up.
her. I mean, she's definitely got to marry you to drug her. Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you supposed to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I think that I think maybe.
So,
no, here's what you do. You take one of her other rings that she wears
doesn't
on
wear
her
rings.
finger sometimes. But then you're fucked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fucked.
So women, if you want to get proposed to,
put
buy yourself
one
a
on
little
it yourself
buy
so that we know the
yourself a
size.
little cheap ring from Argos or somewhere. And just leave that around the house.
Yeah, just mention it.
Yeah, I bought this little cheap ring from Argos.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
Keep
Is it
leaving
crap?
it around.
It's crap. It's got butterflies.
Yeah.
It's got butterflies, but it's the right size.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah, just say you had its size and just keep leaving it around the house.
Just like casually leave. I don't know, scrawled across the walls in your own blood. I'm a size P.
Yeah.
Ring size P.
So I went there, and then I was looking at these rings I liked, and then he's like, "Oh, when you planning proposing?" I'm like, "Next week."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Oh, okay. All these rings you're looking at here take 3 weeks to be made."
Shit.
I'm like, "You need to be looking over here for what we got." So
So
I'm like,
you ended up in the ring bin.
so it wasn't the ring
How do
bin.
you need to prepare a ring for 3 weeks?
I don't know. So
It's just weird. It's right there, mate. Just give me the thing.
So I went there, and I was like, there was one ring that I liked. There's only one ring out of all the bunch that I liked.
Yeah, that's good.
But,
At least you narrowed your choice down.
Cost a bit more than I expected, but it was like the only ring that I liked.
Okay, well, that's good.
And it was like what I had it pictured in my head. So I went,
that's perfect.
Yeah, so I went with that one, but then they only had it in one size, which I knew was gonna be too big.
But you can get it altered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I knew was gonna be too big for her. I knew because I knew her fingers not that big, so I knew this was definitely gonna be too big for her.
Right.
So I was like, okay. They were like, what you can do, you can buy it, propose to her, let her take the picture with it, and then you take it back, bring it back here, and we get it resized for you. So that's what we ended up doing. So I took that ring that I knew was too big for her,
Right.
and then I used that to propose to her. So
That's good.
yeah. So the trip to Brussels, she was surprised. We went on the Eurostar. She was like really, really shocked. Then we ended up in a 5-star hotel.
Good.
Real surprised. And
Did she know about all of that happening, or did
No,
she interrogate you on the way over?
She didn't know. She was just shocked. Like she can't believe it.
Bless her.
Yeah. It was like a real surprise. And she messaged her family. She had to have a family chat. She's like, "Oh, Marlon's taking me on a surprise trip."
Oh, cool.
And then her aunt's like, "Oh, he's probably gonna propose." I was like, so I was like, "Why? Oh, you ruined it." And that's what I was mentioning because I'm like, you never know if somebody's gonna propose. I'm like, "Oh, don't ruin it, the surprise."
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's that's the whole thing. Like people butting in. I mean, this is why my girlfriend, my girlfriend's parents, I've not met them yet after 5 months, and she was saying that the reason for that is partly because I'm sure she's embarrassed by me, but also because but also because she's Indian and she's gonna have like all these people like butting in and being like there's that whole culture of particularly with Asians, not just Indian Asian but also Indonesian Asian as well, in my experience, where it was the whole sort of like, oh, when are you going to propose, when are you going to propose, when are you going to have a baby, when are you going to have a baby, and it becomes everyone's business, which is why I think a lot of people from minorities tend to like hide their relationships until for at least 6 months or so. But fuck me, it's exhausting.
Yeah, because it's annoying somebody doing that from the very beginning.
Yeah, because you're just like, it's like, no, it'll put you off each other just because someone else is getting butted in all the time. I don't know. I don't understand the mentality. Oh, when are we going to see a baby? It's not about you. It's about us.
Yeah.
Like, nightmare. But anyway, okay, so you're in Brussels. Tell me about the big moment. So I'm assuming 5-star hotel.
Then we went out for like one of them restaurants where they open the car door for you and everything. Went to one of them.
Yeah, posh one. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to one of those ones.
Nice.
I thought about
Concierge.
I thought about doing it in the restaurant, but I thought, nah, that's a bit tacky. I hate public stuff.
Don't
like
do that. Yeah, don't do that.
So
So where did you pop the question? So the meal was lovely, I assume.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. That's nice and expensive.
So we went back to the hotel, and forgot to mention I bought a fake gift as well.
You bought a fake gift.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to Sainsbury's beforehand and bought like a cheap earring for like a £5 and put it into the ring box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I gave her the fake gift and she's like, "Oh yeah, thank you. You know what I like." I'm like, really?
Yeah. Cheap tacky shit apparently. Like, she's a classy girl as well. I mean, I know her. She's quite, she's a very, she's a good professional. But okay, fair enough.
Then I'm like, "You sure you like that?" She's like, "Yeah, I like them."
You should have went like this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I did.
Really?
Yeah. And then she was like, I went down on one knee and then she was just like,
in the hotel.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like, did she then jump your bones onto the bed? I mean, it does kind of like shorten the distance between like the very cool sort of ambience. Like, it's like, okay, imagine if you've gone on the Eiffel Tower, then you've got to wait another fucking like 15-30 minutes before you can go and have sex. It's like, honey, I earned this.
So she was just like, probably like for 15, 20 minutes just in complete shock.
She was like crying and shit.
She wasn't crying, but she just couldn't believe it. She was just like...
Why do they always do that? I mean, it's guaranteed at some point some bloke's going to pop the question.
But she didn't expect it then. She thought maybe another year or something. She didn't like...
Fair enough.
That's why I did it when I did it, because I wanted it to be...
Wait, I mean, she's intelligent though.
Yeah.
Like, surprise holiday. You haven't done that before?
No.
Okay, so it's a surprise romantic gesture from somebody who's not, as far as I know, not that romantically inclined. This isn't a regular thing that you would do.
No,
so
I always take on surprise trips every other weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's
Just
what I do.
weekend to Bali. That's what one does.
Yeah.
You know, like,
who doesn't do that?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah,
that's what I spend my money on. Like taking women to random places.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That is literally what I spend my money
on.
But like it's so yeah, it's. I mean, that just sounds nice. I mean, you did it in a hotel room. I don't know. I did it. I proposed to somebody once, and they were, well, we broke up after because of various reasons. But when I did it, it was just an impulse thing I found. I mean, I didn't have a ring or anything like that, but it's just that we were in this in the mountains in Canada, and she and we'd gone this big hike, big drive, big hike. We were getting a bit horny and stuff like that. Going up there, I had a good laugh. It was good fun. And we got to the top, and she goes, "Oh, what are you thinking?" And I said, "I would marry the shit out of you right now." And she goes, "I would say yes." And then I don't know if that counts as proposal or not. Mostly because I said married the shit out of you, and it was like a really romantic moment at the same time. I just had to swear because it's me. And she goes, "I would say yes." And then we snogged, and it felt very much like we'd done something quite monumental. Went back, saw bears on the way back, and nearly ran the little bear cub over in a Dodge Charger.
There's no real way that you...
But then afterwards she's saying, "I want to marry you," and stuff like that. But then, of course, you know, things...
There's no real way that you have to propose, but I think, you should just try and make an experience and everything when you do propose. I don't know.
It's got to be something... You've got to show that you're making an effort. And but then again, don't set the bar too high.
Yeah.
Do not set the bar too high, because you'll expect it every year for anniversaries, things like that. You know, it's not on.
No, I don't think that's the case.
It's not at all. I'm joking.
Yeah. No, I think that's the case.
I think I mean, I think that definitely. I would definitely go for a foreign one. I think. I mean, I don't know. It's a bit like I saw. Speak of the devil. I saw like this one. What was it? Honey Boo Boo, and the bloke proposed to her with a scraggy ass. I must have known for the cameras, but he literally like lay in bed and was like, "I'm gonna ask you to marry me," and she goes, "Oh my god, I'm getting married." It's like, I don't know. But no, I think that for me, I mean, you're happily married now. Yeah. She's gone. We can say other stuff if you want. You know, weapons free. But I don't know. I personally can't imagine it. I'm not. I think that, you know, because it just feels a little bit grown up sometimes. I mean, I've got there a few times, but like and there's people who wanted to marry me. God knows why. But I don't get it. Like, it's just that whole sort of, because do you feel that? Because you then have to go. Did you straight away go into organising the wedding, etc., or was it like?
No, once you propose, that the responsibility shifts on to the woman straight away. So as a man, you don't really have that much involvement in your wedding, really.
Really?
It's just, no.
I plan the shit out of mine.
No, you don't have that.
That
much.
I actually would look forward to a bit more than the
proposal.
I'm more excited.
You're getting elbowed out. I'm telling you.
What?
Once you propose, you're done. You're done. You're done. You'd be lucky to pick your own suit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what happens.
I would 100% be all over that.
Ask our friend who's we're going to.
That auntie's probably already planned your wedding for you.
We're going to a wedding. When is it? May.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
You can check with our friend. I guarantee he's not planning anything.
You'd say Rob, by the way. I don't think he's going to sue us.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. Rob, but I guarantee.
Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Boyd to be.
Yeah. I guarantee he's not planning his wedding. I guarantee his missus and our friends are all like planning everything, and he's just like, okay. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'd still want to get involved though, because it's like it's my money as well as my big day, and it's just like all that crap. And
do you know technically it's actually tradition in some places, in some cultures.
Tradition for the women to pay women's family, bride's father. Yeah. No, but I just don't agree with that anymore. But I mean, that's like.
Yeah, I agree as well. Yeah.
Oh no, I think I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not going to say no to that, but I think I had this case where the bride's parents did actually pay for everything, and it was a bit awkward. Because the groom's parents just kind of ended up looking a bit freeloadery, and I just don't think that's really appropriate. Because it's like, you know, like in this day and age, it's like everyone has to pitch in, and if you want to have a wedding, you know, in a nice place and whatever, you know, or like it's when the other party who isn't paying starts making demands, it's like, get fucked.
But usually, like as a man, you just
sit back and say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, dear.
It's just easier.
I don't know. I wouldn't like other people getting involved in that.
Yeah.
It would have to be something that came from us as a couple, I think.
Yeah.
Because
You just turn up on the day and like, oh, this is very nice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, the flowers are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, honey. Oh, it's your big special day, is it, love? All right, then, cool. Let's make this happen. It's like, where's my girlfriend gone?
To like sort of wrap up on this whole like proposal thing and the whole marriage thing. So, I remember when I went to buy my suit, and I got mine tailor made as well because it's a special day. So I went to the tailor. I called him up, and he's just like, oh, when you can't bring your wife with you. And I was like, oh, your fiance.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to see the dress.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So he's like, okay. So we went there, and I had like some screenshots of what I wanted.
Right.
Ended up with a complete opposite.
Because that's exactly what she wanted.
Yeah.
She said, no, honey. That ain't gonna go. You ain't having pink.
And I think that's the reason why he does that, because he knows it's like really down to the wife to sort of like choose.
Yeah, fine tune
Yeah.
things.
And to be honest, it was nicer than what I picked out. The color, like when you try it on, the color suited me better than the one I ended up with.
Yeah, women do know best.
So,
they do have an eye for these things. Honestly.
So
I mean,
like
I'd just go dark grey.
I went with a light grey suit. Ended up with a light grey suit. I wanted a dark blue suit in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I ended up with a light grey suit. And
dark blue. I think dark blue is one of those things that's more like for business.
Yeah. Then I tried it on, and then that's the color. It just made me look like I was wearing school uniform. So I ended up with the light grey, and my wife was like, "This is your color. You need to choose it."
Darling, it brings out the brown in your eyes.
But yeah, so that's the whole proposal story of how I proposed and everything. And as I said, I wish I had spent more time planning it, but I think it worked out well. It created a great memory for me and my wife. So that's it. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, if she's happy, she's still with you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Cool.
So that's another episode of Off Point Podcast with Les and Marlon.
Lovely. All right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.